Hey, what's up? This is Brandon Simmons for BrandonSimmons.biz, and this is my weekly video blog called Bullheaded, a review of the Houston Texans news, as well as a preview of the upcoming game matchups. So, this week, the Texans will be going on the road to take on the Jacksonville Jaguars in a rematch from week 4, and just in time for the Texans to get a much needed win for their season. But I'll get into all that in just a few minutes. Right now, I want to give a quick game recap over the Tennessee Titans loss that happened on Sunday. So, Texans lost to the Titans 32-27 at home. And you know what? When talking about bad losses, sometimes bad loss can mean somebody got blown out. Sometimes bad loss is it's a game that a team shouldn't have won or shouldn't have lost. Excuse me. And in this case, I think the Texans suffered the latter. They suffered a bad loss against the Titans. It was a game they should not have lost. You know what I'm saying? Um, Texans coming into this game, they were way better than the Titans. They had a lot more to play for, a lot more to get motivated for than the Tennessee Titans. All the Titans had for coming into this game was holding on to some, uniform beef from last year, and also just beating a team, just beating a division rival, if you will, just to hang their hat on for their season. Unfortunately, uh, Texans didn't match the energy of that. They just lost the game in crucial moments, and it wasn't so much that the Texans just got bludgeoned in this game. Like I said, it was a very close game, 32-27, and it looked like the Texans were gonna pull it off. It's just the fact that this team just made so many mistakes. This team was stalled out on offense so many times that it wasn't even funny. You know what I'm saying? Like, this has just been a continuation of things that have been going on through very much the early part of this year. More issues with the offense, and especially within the second half. There was a stat I saw floating around earlier that C.J. Stroud hasn't thrown a touchdown in the second half since week 6. That is ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? This dude, I realize, there are going to be games where you're going to be up and you have to, what I'm saying, kind of get off the gas a little bit. But I think the problem is the Texans get off the gas a little bit too early in these games. Um, and so in this particular game, it's the same story. They came out of the third quarter flat. Um, Mind you, they they were down. By the time the offense got the ball back, they were already down by 2 field goals. But the fact of the matter is, when they had a chance to get the ball and go make points, they couldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? They had to rely on the defense to actually make stops. They had to rely on Jimmy Ward to get his the pick six to put the team up. You know what I'm saying? With just one score. You know what I'm saying? So um, it's just that it just feels like the offense just was not, really being aggressive, really tapping in to what they can do. Because mind you, Stephon Diggs is out, but this is pretty much like the same offensive group minus, one or two changes. You know what I'm saying? Stephon Diggs obviously coming over in the offseason, Joe Mixon coming over in the offseason. But those are some pretty great changes, especially with Joe Mixon still in here, still healthy enough, uh, at this part of the season as opposed to an earlier part. So um, with that being said, there should be no excuse for the offense to really just come out in the third quarters of games. And there was no excuse for them to come out in the third quarter of that game just flat and unaggressive. They have to come out attacking these defenses. They have to treat the halves like a whole new game. What's even worse about this loss was another wasted defensive performance. So the defense had 8 sacks in this game. 8. that's that's high. That's very much high. Um, you know what I'm saying? So uh, they had 8 sacks in this game, and it kind of reminds me of the Detroit game. Where we had 5 interceptions against Jared Goff. Mind you, Jared Goff is, I think at the time he was thrown around in those MVP conversations. Might still be the case. You know what I'm saying? Depending on what Lamar Jackson has going on, but that's neither here nor there. The fact that they got 5 interceptions on that dude on primetime TV and they still, walked away with a loss is mind boggling to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got those turnovers are not easy to come by. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they were, the numbers would look way different. The numbers would start to mirror like what receivers are looking like as far as especially for the interceptions. Um, so to get 5 of those on a guy who's and not even that at the time he was like the most accurate quarterback in the league. So he led the league in completion percentage. So to really just kind of so to really just get that much, get that many turnovers off of a guy that's you know top tier as far as like accuracy goes right now. Um, that's amazing that we lost that game. Considering that happened, but once again, other things factored into that, such as the offense, and this the same case here. Um, the offense just could not get it done in the second half. They just could not score the points they needed to score. Hell, Fairman missed a kick. You know what I'm saying? They're over there praising him about getting all these 50-yard field goals, and he's missing like extra point length kicks. So that's my rant for that, man. Um, My just to wrap it up, man. Texans just have to do better in the second half. That's all that is. That offense has to come alive in the second half. First half they do pretty decent. Second half is they got to do even better. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I feel, and probably what a lot of Texans fans feel. So with that being said, check out some of the injuries. So pretty light list, or I guess you want to call it a normal list. Um, Pretty normalized list for the injuries. Nothing too crazy. Fatakasi and Petrie, both listed as out. Petrie, he's been missing. I feel like he's been in and out the lineup last couple weeks. But also, in addition to Petrie, Fatakasi, um, he's scoring. Oh wait, wrong team. Never mind. My bad. Fatakasi, he's been out for quite a few games as well. I believe he missed the previous game as well, but he was definitely out on this last game. So those two guys are out. Everybody else should be a go. Lassiter, he should definitely be a go, and hopefully Christian Harris will be a go soon as well. So we'll see what happens with that. Now, already on to the game preview, which is nice because it's football. Well, it's rivalry, rivalry weekend of college football this weekend. So, everybody's trying to like really stay glued into the games. So I'm gonna just try to get through this as quickly as possible. To be honest with you, um, Texans playing the Jaguars, rematch from Week 4. Um, Once again, kind of the same thing, kind of the same narrative uh, going into this Jaguars game as it was going into the Titans game. Texans are going to be facing a team whose season is virtually over, and and not just a team, it's a division rival. And with the Jacksonville Jaguars, I feel like they got a little. I think sometimes the intensity of this rivalry kind of fluctuates. Um, that's just my personal observation on that. I feel like we want to beef with them and we'll embrace like the feud or whatever, but at the same time, it's like you mentioned the Tennessee Titan, like it's up, so, as opposed to a Jacksonville Jaguar. So that's just my rambling thoughts about that. But at the same time, I do want to say that they're going to be going on the road. Going to be a rematch from Week 4, and so it's the last game that they played. CJ Stroud, he was amazing, by the way. I think he went 27-40 for 345 yards. Definitely 345 yards in that game. But he was definitely should be on here. Yes, I was right. 27, 43, 45. Good. Glad I got that check. Anyway, but yeah, he was definitely amazing in that game. With that total, two touchdowns and zero interceptions to be added with that stat line. Uh, but still, it was kind of the same thing that the Texans have been dealing with pretty much all season, and what's been brought up as of late. They just been lethargic on offense, especially in the second half, and it kind of allowed the Jacksonville Jaguars to really just kind of creep back in that game and just kind of take over and take the lead in that game. So in this particular game, there's some things that I think they should do to really just go out and get a win and get a decisive win at that. So, first thing, number one, turn the gears up in the second half. So, I don't think the Texans have a problem with getting things started in the game. Obviously not. Um, it's just that second half. I don't know what it is. Like they just seem. It just don't seem the same. And yeah, you can say it's play calling. I could definitely see that, but also I just feel like the players not. I don't know. It just feels like they just the competitive edge from them in that particular case is gone. You know what I'm saying? Particularly on offense. Defense will give up a couple of big plays here and there, but they won't. They'll correct themselves. Same thing with coming out of halftime. They might give up a big play in the third quarter, but then they'll correct themselves. So, um, but either way, whether it's offense or defense, Texans have to turn up. Like they have to turn those gears up in the second half. They just have to, and let the opponents know that that we really mean business. So if you're gonna play us, you're gonna play the whole 60. The whole 60 minutes of this game. So let's really just kind of get to it. Second thing, Texans just have to stay on. They just have to stay on these dudes' necks, like straight up. Like Trevor Lawrence, he's supposed to be back, so the Jaguars' offense might be a little bit more, uh, mm, might be a little bit more cohesive now that he's back at the helm. He's expected to be starting. I'm not sure if he will or not, considering the season's kind of lost on. Um, so it's definitely going to be interesting. Definitely going to be interesting if he is back. But needless to say, just stay on the Jaguars next. We keep the defense run down, keep Lawrence off the field. Uh, what I'm saying? Keep that Jaguars offense out of rhythm. What I'm saying? Everything's going to be smooth sailing from here. So um, they definitely, but yeah, without like the offense just has to be aggressive and just attack the defense. Just really be aggressive in their approach. Don't be afraid to take shots downfield if need be. Trick plays they seem to work a lot in college. You know what I'm saying? You could really do that, but definitely whether it's first or third quarter, just stay on the offense's neck, and you know what I'm saying. They once they do that, they should really just be able to like just really just like come away with something. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's all I got to say. Um, yeah, that's pretty much all I got for this week. You know what I'm saying? Short week. Everybody's probably full off turkey anyway. So just to recap, turn the gears up in the second half. There's too much failure coming out of halftime, so they need to get rid of that. Offense, just stay on that defense's neck. Texans offense need to stay on these Jaguar defense, on the Jaguars defense neck. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. So Texans do those things, they'll definitely come away with the W. Much needed W. Much needed W at this point. So, I'm Brandon Simmons for BrandonSimmons.biz. If you're watching this on Facebook, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you're watching this on Facebook, Facebook.com/BrandonBlog. Like my page, follow my page. Got more content just like this coming up pretty soon. I'm Brandon Simmons for BrandonSimmons.biz. I'm a black.